was back in the dugout, and then all of a sudden I heard these like talks like from our trainer, and he was like giving me like kind of weird looks, and he was like, "We need an outfielder or whatever," and I'm like, "What did I do so bad that I have to get pulled from this game?" And then all of a sudden they're like told someone to get ready to go to second base for Nathan, and I went up to him as the trainer. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like where's he going?" Because obviously like everyone knows what happened in that like scenario, and I was like, where's he going? And he's like, he just got traded to Miami. I was like, no way, like who for? He's like, dude, you're going with him. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, and he got in the dugout, kind of like broke the news to him. We like kind of hugged, and then we just had to hurry out of the dugout, but it was kind of crazy.
All right, guys, welcome into another episode of To The Show We Go Baseball podcast. Today's episode, we're actually dipping back into the Marlins system. It's our second in a couple weeks. We had Nathan Martorella on just a couple weeks ago. Today's episode, though, we have Jakob Marsee. And if you're not too familiar with Jakob, he was actually involved in the same trade that Nathan Martorella was in. And he actually made it up to AAA in the Marlins system here to end the year in 2024. Jakob, I always like to kind of start these off on a little easy foot here, but how has the offseason been? What have you been up to, and where are you at right now?
I'm up in Michigan right now. I've been back and forth between home, which is Allen Park, Michigan, right outside Detroit, and then I've been up to Central Michigan, which is where I went to school, and my girlfriend still goes here, so I've stayed with her a little bit, and I'm finishing up school right now, so I've just been back and forth. Went to Vegas a little bit with one of my friends, and other than that, just been working out and enjoying some time with my people.
Was the Vegas trip a little nice, I guess, breather from obviously your 2024? You know, you were traded and you were played in two different orgs, and have you had a chance to kind of just take a step back and be like, okay, this was a crazy year for me?
Yeah, I mean, the Vegas trip was more recent. So it wasn't even right away, but I definitely, after the season ended, I just had to drive home with one of my friends. He flew down, and really just debriefed, kind of talking to him and talking to my family when I got home. And then at the same time, it's just like, all right, let's put baseball aside and let's just relax and just forget about things you don't want to think about, you know?
Yeah, it's I always feel like, you know, the years that players get drafted, or, you know, you were involved in a pretty major trade this year or whatever it is, I feel like it doesn't really hit some of these guys until the off season, where you're like, okay, I don't need to go play a game, you know, the following week. Like, obviously when you get traded and changed orgs, you just got to go with it. You got to get to the new location and get back into playing with all new teammates, coaches, everything. So I always like to just ask, you know, it's like, hey, have you had a chance to kind of think about it and just be like, okay, I did all that and I officially am in a new org. So I'm going to get some pretty boring baseball questions out of the way here before we get to some like off the field things to get to know you a little bit off the field. But let's talk about 2024 though. You obviously got traded, you played, got up to AAA, played in 22 games, I think it was. And you actually had a pretty good small sample size in AAA. So what was it like getting up to facing AAA pitchers and kind of being in the clubhouse?
It was fun, honestly. I think it just felt like free almost. It was like just go play and just go be you. And I think I had a lot of fun, and I had my struggles obviously in AA. And right before I got moved up, it was funny because I had just said to the hitting coach, I was like, hey, like, it's nothing against you. It's like nothing against me. It's like, I just want to get back to just like keeping things simple, like just like really like dumbing down my swing, which I was just like, I just want to get back to the basics. And I went up to AAA, and that's all I was trying to do, is just win games. And it was a lot of fun, and just being around those guys too. It's you learn how to go about your business even more, just seeing them. They're all super professional and everything. And then it was just a good group to be around too. So
how long did it take you to get, I guess, settled in after, you know, finding out you were traded, and how long was that process for you, I guess, even mentally, to just kind of like get over the hump and be like, okay, I guess I just got to get going here?
Honestly, like Like at first, I think it didn't really hit me that I got traded. I think I mean, like you said, I got on a plane, flew back to San Antonio because we were on a road trip, drove all the way to Pensacola, and was playing the next day. Like I didn't really have time to think about anything. I mean, besides a car ride. But then when I was playing, I was like, it's just baseball. And then like a month in, it like hit me, and I was like, oh my, like this is like it, it's happened. And then I think by the time I like really settled down was probably right before I went up to AAA. Honestly, like I think it was just like I think a combination of getting traded and then just having struggles that I really hadn't faced much before. Just having to deal with both those at the same time.
Yeah, it's I was also curious too. I don't know if I missed this, but you know, I saw with Nathan when he was involved in the trade as well. He was standing on second base when he
Yeah,
figured out that he was traded. I don't know if I missed it. Where did you have a similar situation? Like I'm not sure how it was with you.
yeah. I had literally like right before I was the batter before him, so I think he hit a double. But like I had gotten out, I was back in the dugout, and then all of a sudden I heard these like talks like from our trainer, and he was like giving me like kind of weird looks, and he was like, "We need an outfielder or whatever," and I'm like, "What did I do so bad that I have to get pulled from this game?" And then all of a sudden they're like told someone to get ready to go to second base for Nathan, and I went up to him, I was the trainer. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like where's he going?" Because obviously like everyone knows what happened in that like scenario, and I was like, "What? Where's he going?" And he's like, he just got traded to Miami. I was like, no way. Like, who for? He's like, dude, you're going with them. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, and he got in the dugout, kind of like broke the news to him. We like kind of hugged, and then we just had to hurry out of the dugout. But it was kind of crazy.
Was it nice having a guy that you had gone through a little bit of your minor league career with to, you know, with you in that trade to kind of go through it together?
Yeah, 100%. Because, like you said, like we knew each other. We knew what each other needed to be good, and um, we were there for each other between getting there to just at the new place, like um, being able to be there if we needed help with each other, just like a familiar face to see.
And I always hear too, I think it's fascinating that some minor league guys, you know, when they're involved in trades for big leaguers, you know, they like to keep up and kind of look at like, you know, maybe they peek the stats every now and then of the guy they were traded for or whatever it is. And obviously you were traded for a former batting champion which is not a slouch on anybody there. So is that something that you do? Like, how much do you like put into like, okay, I was traded for this guy. I want to see how he's doing.
I honestly didn't really look at Arraez. Like he's a good player, and I know that, and it gave me confidence like going into the Miami system of just knowing like I traded for a batting champ. Um, but honestly, I checked Jackson Merrill's stuff more than I checked Arraez, just because I was close friends with Jackson the whole way. But I didn't really check Arraez very like honestly at all. But that's no disrespect to him. I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna hit, but yeah,
Yeah, he hits quite a bit.
yeah.
It seems like he's always on first base at least every time he's in the batter's box. But okay, so back to you here. A big I was kind of reading a couple like scouting reports and you know like Baseball America and all of those that have out there, and they say two things about you that I think stick out. One is that you don't chase pitches really at all, and you really make the pitchers throw strikes to you. And then another thing is obviously your speed, which I'll get to in a second. But is that something with your approach in the batter's box there? Is that something that you've kind of always had? Have you always is that been a gift for you since you were young?
Yeah. I mean, I think I always say this, like when I was younger, I always swung at the right pitches just from my coaches telling me like make sure you get a good pitch to hit and stuff like that. But then when I got to college, we really like honed in on the approach and it was like you need to look at this here and here in these counts, and just I think it helped me really get pitches that I was going to be able to handle early in counts, and then two strikes obviously you're battling, but still I think with two strikes I'm still um, not selective, but like I'm still not just going to give in to a bad pitch, you know. But yeah, I think it's just really college helped me out with that a lot, and just I think it helped me in pro ball too.
What did you what were your initial thoughts on the ABS? I know it's a small sample size, but what did you think?
I loved it because I just like sometimes like not that I like to show people up, but it's like it makes me feel good knowing that I know the zone. And I think I've only gotten one wrong ever between the fall league and AAA, and it's just like a really good feeling. But sometimes it makes you second guess yourself, and I don't want to be that guy to screw the rest of the people over too. So sometimes I probably didn't use it as much as I can. But the umpires are really good at that level, anyways. So by that point, you don't even need it as much.
Do you remember offhand how many you did challenge?
Like in my life,
No, like just this past year, like obviously like challenging once a pitch.
probably like 4 or 5.
Okay.
But there was one time in the fall where I challenged 2 and 1 at bat and got them both right for a walk. So that one was pretty cool.
I'm sure you would have been sweating looking at the coach on the way back if you got them both wrong. But
Yeah,
with two of the challenges being used in the same at bat, I know some of
yeah,
the coaches are like, "What are we doing here?" But
yeah,
obviously, you got them both right, so they can't really complain.
yeah.
All right, I want to talk about your speed as well. You stole 51 bags in 2024. You also stole a ton last year. You stole 16 in the AFL in 2023, which not a very small sample size there too. So, um, what is it about? Like, do you always have the green light when you get on first base? Are your coaches like always putting some trust in you? And be like, you know what, like we don't you don't even have to wait for signs. Like, we're just gonna give you green light. You can go whenever.
Yeah, obviously it's like depending on the manager in certain situations, you get the red light. Just you don't want to run into outs and certain things. And I think they had more trust with me in those situations as time went on because I started to learn when I should go, when I shouldn't go, stuff like that. But it was pretty much like until you give us a reason to stop you, like go for it. And I kind of just I love that like just that feeling of being free and just being able to go whenever you want.
So I think a lot of fans think it's just the fastest guys steal the most bags, but I think in reality, there's a lot more into base stealing than just being the fastest guy in the field. And for you, when you're prepping to go into a series or face a certain pitcher or whatever it is, what kind of things are you thinking about before you go into, say, a game, a series, whatever it is, to be like, okay, like when is it a good time to steal in this series?
Yeah, I mean, first thing I always do is look at the starting pitcher and just see how he is going to home and anything I can pick up on to give me an advantage on him. And I mean, there's certain guys that like no matter what they do, it's like I'm gonna be able to get there. Obviously, those are kind of rare the more you go up, but then there's guys where it's like okay, we can get them, and then there's guys where it's like okay, there's no point to risk this early in the game, close game, and we're just gonna wait till we get either a reliever or we might just not be stealing that night. But you just gotta. When I look at the video, I'm able to tell like right away if I can pick up on something. There's some guys where you can maybe steal at second base, but you can't steal at first, or vice versa. But just being smart about situations and not running into the outs.
And also another thing about your game that I noticed is you have some versatility in the outfield, and you played all three outfield positions this past couple years. Um, where is it that you feel more comfortable? Like, I guess, how has it been kind of playing the corners as well? I think you played majority center this year, but how has it been kind of learning right field, left field? Like, where are you feeling comfortable these days?
Yeah, I mean honestly, all three. When I grew up, I played all center, and then I got to college, and we had a good center fielder, so I played all right field all of college. And then, so I think that helped me a lot when I got to pro ball. I was able to go back to center, and I think it helped me get better jumps in center. And then when I go to the corners now, it's just like how it was before. So I think all three I'm comfortable in, and honestly, wherever I get the opportunity to be in the lineup, like I don't really care at this point. But center's my favorite though.
Okay, you obviously have the speed to cover ground too, and even when you are playing the corner, it's best of both worlds for the team as well. You got two center fielders out there pretty much. But I got one more boring baseball question before we shoot off the field here. It's gonna be we're about 2 months away from spring training. I guess 2.5. I guess I can't do math. I guess, but we're getting pretty close to spring training, and it's going to be your first spring training with the Marlins and being around, all the big leaguers for the Marlins and I guess all the new teammates in your organization. What kind of things are you looking forward to coming around this spring training and with the new org?
Just learning everyone, I guess that's part of it. And then honestly, just opportunity. Like I just am excited to play again. Like I think just getting a sense of like, for me last year, there's a lot of things going through my head between spring training with the Padres to Double A over there to traded to moved up to Triple A. Just like a lot of movement last year. That was, I mean, it can be tough and people don't realize that. I think this year, just like going into place and it's like, okay, this is where I'm going to be, and like just familiarity of that.
Okay. Well, I'm heading off the field here. We're gonna get to a little bit of your life before the pros here. It's something I like to do, just to kind of get to know somebody a little bit, just outside of the field and things that you can probably just Google and read about. But my first question's, I guess, a pretty simple one. But who got you into baseball when you were young?
My dad. When I grew up, my dad was playing like slow pitch softball, like he would always play, and me and my older brother, would be running around at the field all the time, like playing pickle or just throwing balls to each other. And I think just my dad helped me when I was younger, and then obviously being able to do that stuff with my older brother too. We were pretty close in age, so I think just being able to do it with them too.
Okay. And are you a proud 313 guy?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show some love to the hometown here, and I always like to do this. But you grew up in a suburb of Detroit, and how was it? How was the baseball scene growing up there? How was growing up just even off the field, just being in a suburb of Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, my hometown's like not necessarily too big, so nothing crazy there. But I think, I mean, I grew up like going to so many Tigers games, and I was diehard Tigers fan. I think it made me love it more. As far as like being able to go to the games, I had like a couple birthday parties at Tigers games and stuff like that, so that was super cool. And then they were winning at the time too, so that made it even better. And then just the baseball scene, just I played travel ball with some kids like close around the area, and we just formed a super good connection. And then I ended up going to play for another team that was close by, and just I actually ended up going to was roommates with one of them at Central Michigan when I got there. So just like super close knit group with everyone I was around being in the suburb.
So I'm going to give you a chance right here to also hype up Michigan and I guess just the baseball scene there, because obviously you hear a lot about the Texas guys in minor league baseball or professional baseball, I guess I should say. You hear about guys from Texas, you hear about guys from Georgia, California, you name Florida, you name it, like they're like, oh, those are the baseball powerhouses. What was the I guess, who are some guys, I guess, that have come out of Michigan lately? And I guess, yeah, show some love, I guess, to the competition scene there.
Yeah, I mean, there was just the powerhouse of Orchard Lake St. Mary's that had Brock Porter, Alex Mooney, I'm probably leaving off a couple other good guys, but then you got Spencer Schwellenbach. He's from there. There's a lot of good guys that are around the area that I think necessarily probably don't get as much love as they should coming up, but I think they're a bunch of gritty, hardworking guys that are gonna keep making strides and keep working to get better.
So Michigan is known for the hockey, and they're obviously, you have a ton of good colleges for college hockey there. You obviously have a ton of guys in the NHL that grew up in Michigan. What was it like, I guess, being a guy that chose, I'm going to get into your other sports as well here soon, but, you ended up choosing baseball in the end. And for a cold weather state that you can't play year round, it snows quite a bit up in Michigan as well. How easy of a decision was it for you to choose baseball at the end of the day?
It was super easy. I mean, I've always loved it since being young. I have pictures of me with the ball in my hand from the time I was 2. My parents told me the first time I ever played in like a game, I played in my older brother's t-ball game the day before my 2nd birthday. So like it's just like I've been around it my whole life. I've always loved it, and going to hockey, that I can't really skate, so it made it easy not to do
That's
something
fair.
like that.
All right, that's an easy decision there. All right, I'll ask about your other sports that you did play though, because I did see you varsity lettered in football and basketball as well. Do you miss football or basketball? Like, how much do you miss it? Because I mean, you got to miss it at least a little bit, even though you may have made the right decision. But how much do you miss those other two sports?
I miss football a lot. Yeah, I always. It's funny. Me and my friend when I'm home, we go throw football around or just talk. I mean, watch sports together all the time. So I'm always watching football with them. But um, football is just like a different feeling, and like nothing better than some football in the fall. So I definitely miss that a lot. And then basketball, I miss it too, just because I wish I had like for both all the sports. It's like I wish I had this knowledge I have on the
Oh
sport now
yeah.
that I did when I played. Um, so I think that stuff, but you can always go play pickup basketball or something like that. So there's ways around that one, but football, there's nothing like you can't simulate a real football game.
So I was just gonna take a peek. I was trying to see what you were listed at on your college website when you were shooting in there. I think it said 6 foot 180. I was trying to guess what position did you play on the football field?
I played safety, wide receiver, running back, and then also got to do some punting, which I wasn't very good at. But
Yeah. Any horror stories from bad snaps or anything, or did you
my
get
first
out of it?
ever, my first ever punt I had, I think went like 5 yards.
Okay.
So yeah, it was tough.
Well, kudos for you for getting back out there and punting the second time and being like, you know what, I can do this.
Started
Um,
figuring it out a little bit then.
Okay. All right. So I like doing this as well. I like showing some love to the school, and obviously you chose Central Michigan. Um, why'd you land on Central Michigan? What drew you to them?
It's kind of funny because when I was younger, I went up there one time for a baseball tournament, and I was like, I'm gonna play here when I'm older. And my mom was like, yeah, like yeah, right. Like, why you say that? But when I went up there again on the visit with Coach Bishel, I think just the way he talked about the game, as far as like how he wanted it to be a family, and um, how we're just gonna love each other, play for each other, and play to win and stuff like that. Just like that's just how I want to play the game. So honestly, that's a big reason. And then just it's not a big campus, but it's not small, and it's not too far away from home, but it's not close. It's just like it just felt perfect as far as like everything, just being a big but small campus in a way, where you see everyone around, and just everything. I just think just everything about it was really.
So Michigan, I feel, is has a lot of different colleges up there, Division 1 colleges to choose from. You obviously have like the big ones like Michigan and Michigan State, but then you also got Western Michigan, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan. I'm probably missing one, maybe D1. I don't know, but um, how did like how hard was it to kind of I'm assuming you may have taken visits to a couple different other schools up there, but was it like hard to kind of like weed out the Michigans or Michigan States or even the Western or any of that? Was it hard to kind of like get those out of the picture?
Michigan and Michigan State didn't even talk to me, so that was pretty easy to get out of the get out of the
All right.
way. And then um, I talked to Eastern Michigan a little bit. They had offered me, and then Wayne State, which is a D2, and that's also like if I didn't go to Central, I would have went to Wayne State over Eastern. And I always say that like because people are like, oh, D1, D1, which I'm like, yeah, that's great, but I want to go somewhere where I feel like I'm gonna one play, two get the most out of myself, and three just like enjoy my time being there. And I really liked what they were doing over there too, but just Central Michigan at the time just really liked their philosophies and everything.
All right. my next question here. It's about your experience playing some summer ball. You had a experience playing in the Northwoods League, which I actually just learned a lot about the Northwoods League by a guy named Hayden Yinger that's in the Blue Jays system that was playing up in Mankato. And he opened my eyes completely to the Northwoods League and how long that summer is. Like, that guys have to like get there late and it's still going. They got to leave to go to school. Obviously it's a little closer to home for you though, but what was your experience like playing in the Northwoods League?
It was fun, but it was definitely a grind for sure. Like, I think I tell everyone like that's gonna um, like that experience is probably as close as you can get to pro ball, but like even more so, like you play a game, hop on a bus. Sometimes you're showing up late and just going to the field. Like the food after the games, you get some hot dogs and you go. Like, it was fun though. I mean, you meet a lot of people from all over the place, and I mean, you can't really take that time away. But as far as I left my season, I went home for like 2 days, drove to my team, and then I was there until I went back to school, pretty much. So, like you said, it's a grind, but it was fun.
Yeah, and I think, what Hayden was kind of telling me too. He's like, he's in AAA right now in the Blue Jays system, and he was kind of telling me, he was like, listen, like, the Northwoods League prepped me so much for getting to playing 6 days a week in minor league ball and just like constantly going. And it's like, you don't get to stop. You just got to keep going. And, you played in the AFL as well, but I think it might bring two different like ways of preparing you for pro ball. So how did it differ from your AFL experience? Obviously, in the AFL, you got like the cream of the crop. You got all the guys, and I know the statistic out there. I forgot what the percentage is at now, but a certain, a high percentage of guys that play in the AFL end up making it to pro ball. So, how do you think both of those leagues kind of helped you on your journey towards Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I mean, first, like the Northwoods, like without the Northwoods, like I wouldn't know what it's like to play every game. Like in college, you play 3 games this weekend, maybe a midweek, then 3 games the next weekend. So it's not like you're playing every single day. Like, you have time off to regroup and figure out what your problems were from that past week and be able to fix those. But when I was in the Northwoods, it was like I have no idea what I'm doing wrong right now, but I just got to go out there and compete. And like, you just put everything aside and stop thinking about mechanics, and you learn how to play every single day, and know how to handle your body, know how to work out before games and stuff like that. That's when I really started to learn all that stuff. And then the fall league was different. I mean, obviously it was amazing talent, but I wasn't playing every day still. Like, everyone has scheduled off days and stuff like that. So we all knew when that was coming. And but I think just being able to learn from some of those guys, like I had I think there was like 6 guys on my team, maybe more, this past year that already made their debut and stuff like that. So just the knowledge and the baseball in that room is just very, very good, and just being able to take advantage of that and just build relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah, I always forget what the percentage is. I know they throw it out every year. It's like 78% of the guys or whatever it is end up making it to the pros. I got to look that up because now I'm curious. But all right, I'm going to another segment here. It's unofficially sponsored by Zaxby's because that's the near and dear to my heart. Still working on that one. When you're not on the baseball field, I peeped your Instagram too, and I tried to find stuff. You eat, breathe, sleep baseball, which is fantastic. But what do you like to do in the free time? Like, what are you doing when you're not training, when you're not playing? Like, what are you doing?
Honestly, I just like to like hang out with my friends and family, like just chill, honestly. Like, just take a step away, like just be with my people and stuff like that. It's super important to me, and I love that. And when I'm around the beaches, I like to go to the beach. I like to be outside, just stuff like that. I mean, I'm not really a fisher or a hunter or anything like that, but I just like to be outside and just spend time with the people I love.
So you're going to be in a minority on this podcast in every locker room I've been in AAA, AA this past year, but every guy has given me 2 answers, and only 2 answers for the most part. So that was refreshing that you just gave me. But I've gotten golf and video games, and there's really nothing else I get. So are you not in any of those fields?
I've tried golfing. I'm not very good. When I got home this off season, my little brother was like begging me to take him to the range and go golfing a couple times. So I mean, I did that, but I'm not very good, so it's hard to get into it. Maybe when I'm done playing, but video games. I like the new college football game, but I don't really like. Before that, I never played, and now I play here and there, and it's not all the time. So I'm not really into either of those things that much. But yeah, I'm in the minority for sure because that's what a lot of people do once they leave the field.
So I got a follow up for you. It's kind of about the golf. It's a kind of a conspiracy question here. So I want to see what you think. I've heard it from some position players, so this is a good person to ask here. Do you think playing golf, like if you did golf, do you think it would mess up your swing at all?
So I've talked to a bunch of people about this too, and I talked to one of my high school coaches, and he said that there was always something a little different in his swing whenever he was golfing, and his dad could notice it right away. I think it just depends on the person, because sometimes I talk to people and they're like, dude, golfing helps me. And I'm like, well, I just don't understand how that can be. But yeah, I mean, I think I tried to golf this year at one point and I felt completely different. But maybe it was just in my head. I don't know.
Yeah, because pitchers, I know a lot of pitchers do it, and it kind of makes sense. It's not really messing with any of their mechanics or anything like that. But with batters, though, I can kind of see how it could, maybe the grip, anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just small stuff. Okay, if you weren't a baseball player, what would you be doing right now?
Oh, I've had to think about it. I thought about this a lot lately just because I'm graduating. So I've always thought about like two things, like one being a teacher, just helping other people and stuff like that. And then the other, just like doing something in business. That's what my degree's in. And just been exposed to more business stuff as I've grown up. And I just maybe one of those two.
Okay. We're going to go to a couple of Mount Rushmore questions here. So I need your top 4 in both of these categories here. So first off, I'm going to go Mount Rushmore of Detroit athletes. Now it's guys that played in Detroit. You grew up watching. Who is your top 4? All sports are on the table.
All sports. Geez, I'm going to leave sports off because I'm not knowledgeable in some sports. So sorry to those people, but Barry Sanders, Miguel Cabrera, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely going to leave sports off.
So I'm guessing not a hockey guy is what I'm gathering here. Might be a sin in Detroit, but it's okay.
Yeah. Verlander. And then I'll throw a hockey. No, I'm not going to throw a hockey out.
That's fair.
Melvin Johnson.
You don't have to. Okay. That's fair. No Pavel Datsyuk or Henrik Zetterberg or any of those guys, but Dylan Larkin, Michigan guy.
No, that's not me.
It's okay. It's got to stay true. I got a harder Mount Rushmore here for you. This one, I don't know. Are you a food guy at all?
Yeah, I like food.
All right, good. Because this is like part food podcast at the end here, but I need a Mount Rushmore of restaurant chains. They can be fast food or sit down, but they have to be a chain. So I need your top 4.
Chain.
It's a tough question, man.
That is a tough question. Chipotle. I mean, that one's easy just because of the lifestyle.
It's popular.
Yeah. Is Firebirds a chain?
Is it a chain in Michigan?
I don't think it. I don't know. I actually don't know if it's in Michigan.
I've never heard of it. I don't know where. I just guessed.
The Cheesecake Factory.
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
There's a good one. Trying to think restaurants. I feel like all the restaurants I like aren't necessarily chains.
Okay, I mean that's
a Texas Roadhouse. I like Texas Roadhouse. That's a good one.
There we go.
And then I'll throw Chick-fil-A out there.
Okay. I used to ask a question on this podcast and I retired it because I'm very pro Zaxby's. I think I said that earlier, but I kept asking a question like, if you were going to choose like a fried chicken fast food chain, where would it be? And I was hoping they were going to agree with me and do Zaxby's. Just never worked out because we got like Chick-fil-A and Cane's every time. So I'm assuming you're.
Yeah, I've never really had Zaxby's, and honestly, I say Chick-fil-A over Cane's just because Chick-fil-A has more options. Cane's, you're getting chicken tenders and that's it. So.
Okay.
I do like Cane's, but I'll have to go try some Zaxby's and I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Well, we're heading into. I have one last thing for you here. I like to do a segment called This or That, where I'm going to give you two options. You give me whichever one. It can just be off the top of your head, and then I might ask for like an explanation if it's like, whoa, that one's a you might be in the minority on this one. So nothing too crazy though.
Okay.
First one here. Would you rather go on a beach vacation or a vacation to the mountains or nature?
Beach.
Okay. Summertime or fall time?
I feel like that's place dependent, honestly. I always say I'll do summer.
Okay.
That's a tough one for me right now.
Yeah, especially with where
like the fall as much. It's made me appreciate the fall and like it a lot more. So that's a tough one. But
yeah, I think you're correct. It solely depends on where you live. Because if you live in Texas or Florida, it's like you might like the fall because you're going to miss it a little bit. If you live, somewhere else, it's like the fall is beautiful. I'm sure in Michigan the fall is absolutely beautiful. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, sunflower seeds or bubble gum?
Bubble gum.
This one is taking me by surprise. Day games or night games?
Ooh, night.
Okay. Was that an easy one for you?
Yeah, I think so.
I've had so many guys say day games. Why do you think that is?
I like night games because I think more people are at night games, cooler, under the lights. I think when you're younger, you always wanted to play under the lights. At least I did. So I think being able to do that now is just like super fun. And then day games, like I'm playing a day game in the middle of the summer, like it's hot out. Like I don't want to be out there necessarily. So
yeah, I'm with you. Because I always say it's like a Sunday day game or a Tuesday night game. Like which one are you picking?
Tuesday night game.
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know. I've had a lot of people say the other way, so I'd ask.
Yeah.
All right. You're a football guy. I think you're a Lions guy. Not a Lions guy.
I'm a Bears guy.
All right, we're gonna alternate this then. So you're a Bears guy. Let's do this then. Jay Cutler or Rex Grossman?
Jay Cutler.
Do you know who Rex Grossman is?
Yeah.
All right, fair. All right. I was gonna do Matt Stafford versus Jared Goff, thinking you were a Lions fan. Sorry about that one.
Do that one.
All right. Better place to attend a football game, Michigan or Michigan State?
Michigan.
I feel like it's easy. HGTV or History Channel?
HGTV.
Let's go. One of us. Last question here. It's going to end it on food one. Would you rather have a cheeseburger or a chicken sandwich?
Cheeseburger.
Okay. See? I mean, you kind of knocked those out of the park. Other than the day game, night game, that's the only one that really wasn't like everybody else. But all right, Jacob, I appreciate so much you coming on. I mean, you gave me 38 minutes of your time here. Definitely appreciate you coming on, and I'm obviously going to be looking forward to you in your first spring training in the Marlins system coming up. But like I said, appreciate you hopping on.
No problem. Appreciate you having me.